Steve, Erica, thanks for coming in. Great
Thanks
to
for
see you.
Thanks for having us.
How long did it take you to get here?
Almost 3 hours.
3 hours.
Almost 3 hours, yeah.
Who drove?
Steven did. I'll probably drive home.
Did it drive itself or
No.
you don't use that?
No, we have control issues.
I could see that. So,
Unapologetically.
Yeah.
rightfully so.
I mean, the car almost drives itself anyway. So there's like, when you think about the Tesla, they pretty much have all the technology in it. You're just adding a couple more features to do the automatic driving.
So here's a silly question. Halloween, did you drive to the cemetery and was there really ghosts? You didn't see that
Was
with
that a
Teslas?
thing?
Yeah.
Did not
Yeah.
know.
No, we did not.
No.
So apparently Tesla did something with the screens when you went through cemeteries where they put ghosts, like people just
No,
walking.
but we'll have to try that next time.
Yeah.
Wow.
On the
But
screens.
they do have a like a laser light show every night. You do know that.
No, I didn't.
Yeah,
Once
you
it
can
gets
actually take the
dark.
Tesla and schedule it, or you can actually randomly, and it spells words on the ground, and there's a
That's
whole.
pretty cool.
The car does a whole laser light show to rock music and everything.
Really?
Yeah, really.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
That's
really.
pretty cool.
It
When-
spells out Tesla on the in the front of the car with lights like 50, 60 feet out. It's
And
neat.
the windows are going
Windows
up and
go
down,
down.
and the mirrors are flapping.
Spin
It's pretty
and
funny.
rock music, and the hoods are opening and closing.
That would
and-
bug me out.
Yeah, it would bug you out.
It's a little weird.
It'd bug you out if you set it for the same time every night and woke your neighbors.
That's tragic. 2 in the morning. 3
Yeah,
in the morning.
exactly.
That would
Really
be
loud.
interesting.
But you can do that. Yeah. Yeah.
Playing like Rhyme of the Ancient Man or a 13-minute song.
You
for
can
Maiden.
pick whatever you want and it will do it.
So
Yeah, it's kind of
something.
fascinating. Someone had fun with that one.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So let's get down because we only got to. Julia's going to make sure we stop at a certain time
Sure.
today because I can go on for hours with you guys. Where'd you guys grow up?
I grew up in a town called New Providence, New Jersey, Union County, New Jersey.
I grew up in Bloomfield, New Jersey.
How'd you guys meet?
Youth group,
Youth group.
statewide youth group.
Yeah.
Oh wow. What was that like?
It was fun. And I think that really shaped a lot of who we are
Yeah.
and who we wanted to be with, and it shaped a lot of our life.
Yeah, it was a foundational
How
place.
old were you?
I met Erica. I mean, I went through it for 4 years, so I met Erica when I was a senior there. My girlfriend at the time introduced me to Erica.
And I was 16.
Yeah, I was 18.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jersey law. I know what it is too.
No, I mean,
That's so bad.
she actually would tell you that I was an ass.
He was.
When I
He
first
was
met
an
her.
arrogant asshole.
He still is. It's not like it
Hasn't changed.
Hasn't
Hasn't changed.
yeah.
A little
We'll
different.
calm down a little differently. And and then we started dating 2 years later at college where we were both at the same school. So I was at University of Rhode Island and she showed up there as a freshman.
Okay.
Then we started dating end of her freshman year,
Wow.
my junior year. Yep.
Crazy.
Yeah.
So you
Yes.
guys were what? 18, 17?
I had just turned 19 when we started dating.
and I was 21.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, we never really dated anybody else.
That's
I
it.
mean, we did, but we didn't. Those
Yeah.
weren't real
So
relationships.
like me and my wife.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were 18, I think.
Yeah.
And we had our first relationship. At least I hope. So,
I'll ask your daughter. She'll tell me.
won't tell you. Won't tell me. And yeah, we've been together ever since. 18 years.
Yeah.
18 years old, and now I'm 55. So
Yeah, same
Yep.
thing.
same person. And
Yeah.
Yep.
Almost
Don't
30
like
years
change.
married. Mhm.
Yeah.
yeah, me too.
Yeah,
But
same
together for 33 years.
Yeah.
When did you get married? I got 95.
Thing. 96.
96.
Oh wow.
Yeah. 96.
I was a child's bride.
Yeah.
What you are? Jeez.
Yeah, she was 24. We got married a week after she graduated from grad school. So Erica went to grad school at Boston University, and a
What'd you
week
study?
after that,
I have a master's in social work. I'm a geriatric social worker by training.
And yourself?
me, I had a degree in communication studies from Rhode Island, and then went into public relations for high tech companies, and then went into software sales for technology.
How long did you do that for?
10 years. Basically from 92 to 2002, I was working for startup software companies, like bleeding edge software that back then was bleeding edge. We use it now, but back then we didn't know what we were doing.
Okay.
And we knew what it was. We knew that was the future, and we had to prove why people needed it. But after that,
That must have been interesting.
it was fascinating.
I think we talked about this a couple weeks ago. You
Yeah.
and I think we were in Chicago. We were talking about
Probably,
this.
yeah. Yeah, I mean, but like what I sold before real estate, and I tell everyone, was the beginnings of artificial intelligence. In 2002, I sold artificial intelligence software, which we called knowledge management. We're going to manage your knowledge inside your company. And it
What
would
did you see back then?
What was that?
What was the difference from back then to today?
Well, number
And what
one.
did you see, like,
no,
coming
I
out
mean,
of
number
it?
one, like the iPhone wasn't invented yet, right? There wasn't Wi-Fi everywhere. There wasn't screens the way they are now. right? There wasn't any of those things where like you had a BlackBerry, but you weren't addicted to it to the point where you're like driving and looking at it, right? None of those things were going on. There wasn't Wi-Fi all over the place. So when our software ran, it ran inside of a company. It wasn't external to the company. Everything ran internally inside the corporation.
It's interesting.
Yeah, and the data we could pull out of a company within about a week of our software being deployed was mind-blowing. So we could pull information that the company didn't even realize that people were working on projects that were going to help the company move forward without even them realizing it.
So did you know this was coming? Like what?
We knew so eventually technology usually starts, especially
because this started like in the 20s. They said too. AI,
yeah,
right?
yeah. AI started a long time ago. I mean, really, we had a nurse in our life who in the 70s went to college and his major was artificial intelligence in the 70s, right? So we knew this was coming. It's just a matter of then getting it to a point where it gets to the consumer. The consumer then gets access to the technology that the companies have been using for years, but not calling it that. And that's eventually it becomes decentralized.
That's right.
Yeah.
What happened? Like, what would that guy say? Do you still know the nurse?
Yep.
What would he say? Like AI back then was, and were people laughing at him back then, or
No.
or
People didn't laugh at him.
You know, were they thinking he was nuts?
He laughed at himself.
Yeah. I mean, he was such a geeky computer person.
Well, and I mean by laughing at him, we're thinking he was just out.
Right,
Freaking
out
nuts,
there.
you
Yeah,
know,
exactly.
because of what he's talking about.
So
because
remember,
He knew that it would really help big companies. So he right after that, he went for a job at UPS, and he was doing
we were talking about this in the
positioning.
airport. That's right.
Yeah,
Yes.
positioning of and rollout of their inventory in safe ways with decoys, with all sorts of stuff. I mean, and he had an early computer to really figure out where's everything going to go, when, what's the timing, who, and he.
Where did the AI come in, though?
I haven't the slightest
Last idea,
idea.
but he was using it back then to make decisions for
crazy.
how to get like a company would get FDA approval for a new drug. Well, once that FDA approval hits the media, it would have to be in every drugstore by the next day.
Wow.
He would have the AI built or the computer program to built to do that.
So what was that AI? I guess that AI was talking to all the programs, or was it talking to?
It was talking to all the software people on his team to then talk to the
distributors.
the distributors of UPS to make sure that the moment the FDA said yes, that within 24 to 48 hours, those drugs were in every drugstore. So, or at every doctor's office, or every pharmaceutical rep had it at their house. Like all that had to be done because the next day they're on the street selling it.
And now he uses that AI mindset
Yeah.
to help his patients. He's a nurse, and he loves.
What type of nurse?
He's a licensed practical
brilliant.
nurse, and he loves working with kids with disabilities. And I mean, he was working on building robots with Josh. And
I was going to say, had you met him?
yeah.
That's Josh, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and he worked on a lot of different ways to bring more, life into our children's lives.
Besides just the medical care.
Yeah,
Like
it
I
wasn't
think
just medical.
Like I
care.
think I told you when we first met him, he looked at Joshua's printout, and he said, "This is nursing for dummies. I'm good. I get to have fun all day." We were like, "If you think after looking at this printout of what you need to do to keep him
guy you
alive
want.
is
I'm
fun all
like,
day."
I'm like, I hire you.
Yeah, that was easy. He was like a no-brainer.
You're it.
And we were talking about this a little, you and I, right? And if you're okay with talking about
Yeah, sure.
this. I know you are. You're very comfortable with this. That's pretty cool. How many people did you go before him? Like through, like how
Nurses?
many nurses?
Nurses?
Yeah.
Oh, my
'Cause
gosh.
Steve was telling me,
We hired a lot of nurses, and they left for one reason or another.
And why?
then-
Let's get back to one thing. I'm sorry to cut you off.
Yeah.
Let's, if you don't mind,
A little
talk about
backstory.
a little
Yeah,
backstory
I'll let
and
you go.
what goes on. Yeah.
So we were so excited to start a family, just like a lot of other young couples are. And we were fortunate enough to get pregnant pretty easily. And we were really excited. But for some reason, as we were thinking about bringing this child into the world, I can't wait to do this with our child. I can't wait to do that. And I would be like, if our child's able to, if our child's able to. I don't know why I kept saying that, but maybe because my sisters both had preemies. But
She's also a realist and a pragmatist. So
and then I also felt like crap. I had a pregnancy from hell, and we wound up having Joshua really, really, really early. at 28 weeks, but he was the size of a 24-weeker at less than 1.5 pounds. He was 650 grams.
Shit.
Right. And
Right.
so that's a
Tiny.
whole lot. And, you know, we didn't really know back then of what was going to be and how
So-
it was going to happen.
If you don't mind me getting into this, was the body just rejected, like the pregnancy, and
I'm
forced them
really
out?
cute
or-
to look at. Yeah, I just can't gestate for crap. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
That's pretty
yeah.
much it. Yeah.
Pretty
That's
much
what
it.
happened.
And by the way, this is genetic based because her mom
Had rough pregnancies.
really rough pregnancies in the
And
60s.
both my sisters had rough pregnancies.
And so when you look at what
Sorry to hear that.
her mom went through,
Yeah.
had they done the testing they've done now, we would have known more. But
Maybe.
but
But
then
it wouldn't have been preventable.
No,
No.
I mean, I
Not
had
that
gestation-
you want to, but
I had gestational thrombophilia with Josh, meaning the blood flow from me to Josh through the cord was crappy, and
you can't grow.
I needed to have thinned blood and all that. And my subsequent pregnancies, which did not end well, it just proved that I'm not meant to gestate.
Yeah.
I have other skills,
then you can laugh about it. That's
and you know,
that's why I love you guys.
I have other skills. You know, fun is a big part of.
What we do.
That's right.
Yeah.
Of going through life. And I became Joshua's advocate and
Yes,
not
you
just mom, but advocate and president and CEO of Joshua Gendel Incorporated, as Stephen called it. And what a great job. What a great job. And he taught me so much. And we worked together. And I loved having the teams of nurses in and out of my life. I hated it and I loved it. There were ups and downs and all around, and I couldn't go back to working in social work because I was being mom to a very medically fragile child who was in his 21 plus years of life in the hospital for probably 3 to 4 years of his life total.
Wow.
And so for us, we didn't qualify in our state for nursing because Josh wasn't sick enough.
After
And I'm
he
putting
got
that in
home.
quotes after he was born. So part of understanding the
How sick do you have to be?
right,
Right.
exactly, right.
Right.
And we knew other people who had less medically fragile kids, but because the way their child was born,
They were able to
they
get a
were able to
waiver.
get waivers and nursing coverage. And Erica was going crazy because
So frustrating.
it was frustrating. So thank heaven she knows what to say by being a social worker. And she called the state of New Jersey and said, if you guys don't provide nursing tomorrow, I'm going to jump off the roof and hurt myself, which is not hurt the child, but hurt
get it,
herself, right? And
I
then,
had a friend say that she and her child would jump off the roof, and protective services showed up the
To
next day.
take the kid
But
away.
anyway,
versus,
With the nurse.
Right. Versus the other side,
I'm gonna jump off the roof. by
Mom's gonna
myself.
hurt
I
herself.
wasn't going to. It was
She wasn't
just
going to,
using.
yeah.
I was leveraging
to
what
say
I
what you have
had.
to say.
right,
yeah.
say what you say. And then the next day, the state showed up with nursing.
Only 20 hours a month.
A month. But,
they
was
still
a
got it.
Start.
20 hours.
A month.
A month.
It was a start.
So that's like 2 hours. No.
Every other day, if you're lucky.
A little bit less than that.
Can't do anything.
It was a start.
Yeah.
It was a start.
And then they
But it's a
realized
start, yeah.
they realized what we were dealing with was like running an intensive care unit at home.
Because Josh got sicker and sicker. I mean, we called it, we kind of referred to it as life in a little rowboat in a really big ocean. You know, you get, the waves would come and boom, you'd be tossed overboard and you're
Doggy paddling.
Yeah.
doggy paddling and doing the best you can to keep your head above water. You get back in the rowboat and you're like breathing. And then a storm cloud comes and you're like, oh no, here we go again.
Here it comes. Here we go.
And we had life in a rowboat.
Yeah.
Wow.
But-
And Josh had well over 50 neurosurgeries in his lifetime. He had 4 major GI surgeries, 3 or 4 orthopedic surgeries. He had a G-tube. He was legally blind. That didn't stop him. And he had Crohn's disease.
And yet, every time I saw him, he had a smile on his face.
He looked like crap on paper, but seriously, in person,
Yeah.
he was just delish.
He was happy.
He had a head-to-toe smile.
And one of the things
Full
that,
body smile.
that,
He
Eri-
did, every
that
time I saw
Erica
him, yeah.
would whisper to him before we went into a public room, she would whisper to him, Joshua, you are the ambassador for all people with disabilities. You better sit up tall in that wheelchair
Let's be proud.
and be proud. And he would sit up. He would fight his cerebral palsy and sit up and put a big smile on his face. And that automatically changed his mindset.
I mean, think about it. You go out and you don't see people in wheelchairs with a trach and a vent and feeding tubes and all that unless you're going to Disney or somewhere else. And we did go to Disney a lot with him.
Right.
but it was hard. It was hard.
The average shopping mall, you're not going to see that. You might see a person in a wheelchair.
Yeah, you're right.
Right, you might. You might see a senior. You
but
might
not at
see
the
a-
supermarket.
But not at the supermarket. You're not going to see someone with a mom, a dad, a nurse.
Taking them out. And,
Right, taking. You don't see that in
It's
society every day.
hard because it's hard.
It's work.
No, it's
the amount of
tons of
equipment to bring with us. The wheelchair with all of his equipment was 150 pounds.
One time I took Josh to the store, and it was hard. And I got him back in the car, and I call Steven from the car, and I'm sobbing. I'm like, I lost my sunglasses, and I'm just, why can't this be easier? And she was like, okay, you done? I'm like, no. And I kept sobbing. And Josh is in the back
Laughing. Just laughing.
That's
and
awesome.
Steven's like, but you did it.
You did it.
You did it. Who cares about the sunglasses?
And he's laughing in the
Right,
back.
and he's
That's
laughing in
awesome.
the back. Right, exactly.
That's
Because he's
awesome.
like, Mom, I don't understand why you're so upset. Because what we realized was going out and trying to be as typical as possible in society was a challenge, because as much as there's ADA laws, it's still not easy. ADA is the bare minimum of what allows
It's
you to
truly
get
bare
the bare
minimum.
minimum to get you into a room, a subway, a train, a bus, any event.
If the things work.
If everything works, right? So a lot of planning, even just going out locally, a lot of planning. Can we do it? Can we not do it?
Can we get in that restaurant
we
or
get in
not?
the restaurant or
We
not?
want to visit his aunt and uncle in the city. Okay, where's the bathroom to change him?
How's the wheelchair going to fit in the elevator in a pre-world, or
A
early
pre-war-
pre-war
Right.
building, right?
Wow.
All that stuff.
You never think of that
You don't
stuff.
think about
How
that
to
stuff.
get him to the downstairs bathroom in these old city restaurants.
Right.
That's
like,
right. You don't think
To
of that.
schlep him down the stairs, no.
Right.
It's
So-
too hard.
You can't do it. Yeah.
No, so all those things, like you don't
Come into
think
play.
about what come into play, especially in a major metropolitan area like ours with amazing medical care. Don't get me wrong, right? There's amazing doctors here, and the challenges of sometimes getting them into the city to see a doctor.
We really only had one or two doctors in the city, and we didn't see them all very often.
Right.
But when we did, it was 3 adults.
3 adults to get them in the city and a day out of work.
3 adults, because,
Someone had to park the car. 2 people had to get them in, right? So
I mean, I'm good, but, I mean,
Not that
I'm
good,
not,
yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
Can't do it.
6'9"
You
in my
can't physically
head.
do it,
Yeah.
I'm 6'9" in my
Who
head.
said, yeah?
yeah,
5'1" on a good day, but 6'9" in my head.
yeah. So like those are
Would
like
you say 5'1"?
5'1" on
I
a
thought you
good
said
day.
5'9". I was like, you're lying to yourself now.
no.
I love you, but
I could take like 1 or 2 more inches. So anyway,
Yeah.
need some high platform food shoes
Yeah.
to get to 5'9".
and then I fall over.
But I mean, what Erica said earlier was like living life in a rowboat is truly what we did. It was paddling through the till the next storm.
Right.
And every day we'd look up and look at that storm cloud and be like, can we avoid that one?
But how, silly question, how fun was it though?
Oh, that's not a
We
silly
made
question.
sure we had fun.
Yeah.
Fun is a part of life. So here's a discovery we just made. We've been through the ultimate of storms. One might say a shitstorm.
I would say that. Yeah.
The most unfathomable of storms, even having lost our son. And still, in the pre-storm, the mid-storm, the after-storm, we still managed to laugh. And fun is really important.
Sanity, yeah.
Yeah.
It is, and to create an environment of still having joy and love. And I mean, I know Josh loved it all because he laughed through even some horrible times, and we did too.
Yeah. You have to laugh. If you can't laugh sometimes at the absurdity of what you're going through,
Absurdity.
right? It's to the point where you're just going through so much that it's people at the outside world are looking at you saying, how are you doing that? And we're looking at it saying, it's so absurd. If you just don't laugh, you're going to be curled up in a ball and you can't even function. So you might as well laugh.
We had those
as best-
moments, but
Yeah.
not
I'm
at
sure
the
you
same
did,
time,
yeah.
though.
Not at the same time. And you just had to absolutely laugh at how absurd this was. Or someone would say to us, it can't get any worse. We'd be like, whoa, whoa,
Oh,
whoa,
yeah,
whoa,
good.
whoa, whoa, time
We
out.
never say that.
Time out. You
Yeah,
can't
please
say
don't
that,
say that,
because
yeah.
we saw worse.
We
saw
know
it-
worse.
We saw it happen. So if you didn't have a great attitude about it, if Erica didn't tell Joshua, sit up, you're the ambassador for all people with disabilities, put a smile on your face, right? If you didn't crack jokes at inappropriate times. I mean, I'm thinking one time in the operating room before surgery, I cracked the most inappropriate joke, right? He's about to go in for neurosurgery. I'm standing there trying to calm him down, and the anesthesiologist is trying to calm me down. And I'm calm. Like, I'm focused on Josh calming him down. And I said, Dr. Cohen, this is a no-brainer. Now we're about to open my kid's head.
You're such an ass.
And everyone, all the nurses are laughing. The whole staff is laughing.
And Josh is probably looking at you,
Look,
mother.
right, no, but he was,
I'm sure
but he had a
He
smile.
knew those
I'm
words.
sure he's
A
laughing.
smile on
That's
his
it.
face. And Dr. Cohen
That's
looked at me.
awesome.
He goes, "Mr. Gendel, you can't be that calm." And I said, "Dr. Cohen, I this is really like focus on Josh, like get him out." And then our neurosurgeon's in the corner with his game face on, as I like to say, and he goes, "Dr. Cohen, Mr. Gendel's been in this operating room more times than you have. Put his son out. He's fine."
Wow.
And
So
that's
scary
all
that
I
they
wanted
go
to
for that.
focus on was Josh. Well, my feelings are irrelevant. I'll worry about mine outside the operating room. I mean, like focus on him and be present in the moment. And that's where like cell phones don't matter, technology doesn't matter. Like just be
In the
so
moment, yeah.
in the moment, right?
So when we lived at home after all of that, it was like, okay, what can we do in those moments? I mean, yes, we're keeping Josh alive. We're having fun together. We're working on just what's his next best step, but also how are we going to keep the roof over our head and not rely completely on our parents,
Right.
just partially at that time.
Of course, yeah.
And
Because you're still young at that time. You're
we
still
were
young
really
now.
young. We
but-
didn't have pennies to rub together
Yeah.
even. Not that pennies are around much longer, but we were like, what do we do?
Right. And
So
people don't understand the cost, Rich. And I would say cost. I'll give you an example. The average family probably has an SUV or a minivan. They run anywhere back then. Go back in
50 to
time
60,000
to between
tops,
a
yeah.
low of 25. If you get the really cheapest minivan 25 years ago.
Oh, okay, yeah,
Right.
yeah.
To today, they're starting between 40 and 70. Right.
Yeah, roughly.
Right. About that. But go back into 2000.
When Josh
neither-
finally
Yours
needed
has
the
to be-
minivan.
Right.
to be
It was
equipment.
$75,000 for a modified van in 2005 with a
With the
ramp.
ramp.
And by the way, financing for that doesn't happen at your local car dealer, right? And insurance doesn't happen for that. And you go through tires and brakes quicker because it's heavier weight. And it's a fully custom car.
Jeez.
Financing it was nearly impossible. There's like one or two banks that finance them.
Wow.
Right.
Probably at a ridiculous rate, too. Right?
Correct. They're not giving you a rate because it's not something you can really resell
And
that easy.
the extra rider. And
Right, and extra insurance riders on it, everything else, because you have the car, then you have the modification and a ramp.
And yes, is that all that stuff? And this is a silly question. Is all of that stuff like warranted and?
There's a
all that? So if
warranty
you
on,
go-
on parts and stuff for a certain amount of time, but then if something breaks,
it breaks.
You
What
brakes.
happens if the ramp goes out?
It did.
it did.
We had to switch it to manual.
Oh, so there was.
There's a
I had
manual.
to.
Sure
We had a
there's dummy
power
switch.
ramp. We didn't do the manual because I needed to have my hands on Joshua.
Of course.
because
Right.
he was a gagger and a retcher.
Right, and a
so
choker.
he choked a lot. So there was a switch to make it manual to pull it out. And
Yeah.
however, when our last van, when we got into a car accident, an older lady hit us, and the cabin started filling with smoke. We literally said, "Screw the ramp," and just jumped him off the edge
And just
out the door.
out the side door. Yeah.
Yeah,
But, like,
we
when-
said we're not waiting for the ramp.
But when
course not.
when that van goes down in a typical family, you have another car, you can take your kid.
Yeah.
We don't.
And you can't get a loaner car.
Right. It's not like you're getting a loaner. There's not loaners available.
Which meant no school if
Which
I
meant
was
no
driving
school.
him. It meant the doctors. I mean, if I could get an ambulette, I guess. But
That's what I guess you'd have to get an ambulance, right?
Right.
But
So everything
isn't there,
changes.
Like, some kind of like charity out there that could help with this stuff, where they have
Nope.
loaner vans on call
Nope.
if somebody needs it, God forbid.
nope,
and-
nope, and nope.
And nope.
And then he'd break his wheelchair with frequency. He had really severe spastic quadriplegia.
Sure.
So he
He would break the wheelchairs.
he
With
broke
the
the
foot-
headrest off,
foot
or he
pedal.
broke the footrests
He'd
off,
shear the footrest off. Yeah.
right through the steel.
And so now we're
Well, I guess yeah, because
now we don't have a backup chair because there's no room in our house for a backup chair, let alone the cost for a backup chair. Insurance isn't going to pay for a backup
how
chair.
do you do this? And I get it, you have to do it, right? You do.
Well,
what
not
you have to do.
everyone
Equipment
does. You know, what's funny
maintenance,
is
a lot of
that is-
equipment management and maintenance.
but not everyone does.
And we had to sue the state because Josh had secondary Medicaid. And so everything was pretty much under our insurance, but there were certain things that were above and beyond. So he was an individualized family of one, and he was able to get Medicaid. And we needed some support from Medicaid for a modified bed, and we had to sue the state.
Yeah.
We had to go, we did appeals, and then we had to go to
Court.
the fair hearing.
So I can't understand why you would have to do that, but I'm sure in your eyes you understand why.
Yep.
What is
Yep.
it? What's the reasoning you have to go that far to get fucking? Excuse my language. That's aggravating. something like that approved?
Because
Because insurance companies know that most people won't appeal. And when we know what is available to help our child when there's no other options available, and this is the best option to keep him safe and healthy, then we will push for something. And it's absolutely demeaning and demoralizing to parents and families. And I think about us with degrees in higher education that we can do it and still find it so frustrating. And I find it absolutely infuriating that families who are not primary English speakers and who don't have the advocacy skills wouldn't be able to do what we did. I mean,
I wouldn't be able to do what you did.
it's a lot.
It's a lot.
And
It's a lot.
I would help people through it in a heartbeat. And I even helped Children's Specialized Hospital talk to insurance companies so that the kids who are coming there to have some services
got them covered.
could get them covered. And the insurance company said, okay, now we see your point.
So Children's Specialized Hospital is a local New
In New
Jersey
Jersey.
hospital that works with kids with special needs, and they have
Outpatient and inpatient.
they have a wheelchair clinic. Think of the wheelchair clinic as a garage, like they have a lift, like you would for your car.
They have a lift for
They have a lift for
chairs.
wheelchairs, and they would get underneath the chair and they would work on it with tools and everything. And our insurance carrier didn't want to pay for us to go there to get the wheelchair maintained, fixed, upgraded. So we invited the insurance company there
take a look.
to come. And was it 3 or 4 people came?
I went with Josh.
With Josh to get his wheelchair fixed.
I'm like, you see that?
And
That's where he breaks it.
They saw the entire process and they said, okay, now we know why we need to cover. Like we begged them to come and they came. And
Well,
they
you got to
showed
give
up.
it to them for showing up.
Oh no,
I
we
agree.
were
I
actually
agree.
happy,
I
right?
hope
that
that
they
it's
did.
still in place that they're covered.
That they're covered.
But insurance companies, and also let's talk about Medicaid. I mean, Medicaid is partially funded by the federal government, partially funded by the state,
State, yeah.
depending on if the state is managing those funds, how
Properly, yeah.
that
Right.
state manages those funds, whether they'll go to
Because it's
here
still
or there.
impeded.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So if the state is saying, "Oh no, we only want the funds to go here," I know some states run out of Medicaid funds
it-
mid-year.
So if it's partially fed, does the Fed have to pick up the mistakes of the state? Like if
No,
run out
they
of money?
blame it on the state for not for mismanagement.
And it's all just money. They just throw money and
Yeah,
go, here
they
you go.
throw money and that's it.
And
So
then
you
the
don't
state-
get no more. They
No,
don't.
that's it.
So is every state different in the
Yes.
laws? So if you guys are in Florida, you
Yes.
have to abide by Florida
Yes.
law.
Totally
or
different.
Jersey?
Yes.
Wow.
So like we had a client.
So you have to actually know. I'm sorry
Yeah,
to cut you
yeah,
off,
yeah.
Steve. Where
Yeah.
if you go to Utah,
Yes.
you have to know that law before
So
you go.
Changing states with a kid like Josh, moving states,
Can't do
I-
it.
you don't just do that easily.
I think
you
of
have
two.
to really
I think
consider
of
it.
2 clients of ours. One who went to Florida with their child with special needs, and I listed their home in New Jersey, and they were not prepared. They did not know
They didn't
what to
do their
expect.
homework.
They didn't do their homework, and they lost basically everything.
They lost all their nursing coverage.
Coverage.
They didn't get Medicaid
Paid.
for a while.
Like you're in line.
Texas, a friend who
Yeah.
we helped with, they moved to Texas. That kid actually had to go to a nursing home for a certain number of days. The nursing homes didn't want to take him
Because he's a child, not
with
a
a trach and a vent.
Vent,
So
right.
mom had to go be the nurse. He just needed those days
He had to be in 7 straight days before
in
he'd qualify.
order to, or 14
in
or whatever
Texas.
it was, to get Medicaid.
So every state does it differently. So if you don't know those laws, or you don't have someone like Erica, who's a social worker, who can dig in and find out what's going on, you're setting yourself up for failure.
How about travel? If you go away and God forbid something happens,
Right.
you
So
get sick and you end up in a hospital there, is it the same laws? As
no. Well, it
Do
depends.
you have to abide by Florida laws,
So-
Texas laws at that point?
New
Or-
Jersey Medicaid doesn't cover other states.
That's what I thought, yeah.
Right.
Same with other states. They'd make their decision. However, we had primary insurance, thank God. And when we did go to Florida, we wound up in the emergency room a number of times, and our primary insurance covered it. They
Thank
wanted to admit us, and we're like, no.
No.
Please don't.
No,
Yeah.
please don't. Now-
And
now-
we're like, what does it take? Okay, we'll do it. We're gonna make sure he can get that well to get out
right.
of here.
And they would call our doctors up here to speak to them. But on the flip side, when Josh got older, we'd bring a nurse with us. That nurse would have to register with the state before they were going to that state
If we brought our own nurse,
as a traveling nurse. And that way the state was alerted. We were in the state of Florida, for example, with a traveling nurse.
You think they would
So-
make it and
so this was
it would
full-time
make it
work.
easier for you?
And this was full-time
Time
work,
work.
for me and for Stephen
know.
because I couldn't do it all.
And
Because
then we
there were
still had-
certain, and then he
right.
still had to work.
And we still had his care. So you got all that every day.
So When did you find the time to get the real estate license? Before Josh?
So in the summer 2002,
It was
Josh,
a summer from hell.
we called the summer of hell. Josh went in the hospital May 1st and left August 20th.
Okay.
He had 8 neurosurgeries that summer, I think.
How
and
old is Josh at this time?
3.
He turned 3 in the hospital.
And he had like 8 neurosurgeries, 3 to save his life that summer. He had neurosurgery in the middle of June that summer, and I got laid off while he was on life support. Like, that was it. So he was on life support, and my company let me go. I was their number 1 salesperson. There were 4 salespeople. I was the only one of the 4 of us to sell any of the software, and I picked up $2 million clients, and they let me go. I don't know why. I'll never know why, and it's okay.
We have a hunch.
We have a hunch, but well, that's fine. About a week after that, my mom needed emergency
I
breast.
wonder why people go fucking post.
Right, exactly.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm sorry to say
No, it's
that.
okay. No, it's true. My mom needed.
I know those words.
Yeah, my mom came to us. She needed emergency breast cancer surgery about a week after all that happened. So Josh is on life support.
And
I
Josh
lose
had
my
4
job.
great-grandparents alive, 3 wound up in the
Hospital
hospital.
with heart failure. All that in 3 weeks. From January 15th to June 15th to the beginning of July. That was 2002.
It was fun.
So
Fun times, kids.
So
fun times.
I started looking for a job right away to get health insurance.
He was
And I panicked because I
Can't blame him.
right. And Erica said to me,
Please.
let's just be a family. We do not know what's going to happen. We know that there's a lot,
And
lot
I
going
will
on.
probably be dead and buried if I have to do this on my own.
Yeah.
I need your help.
Yep.
You've got a small package. Let's go with the package and let's get out of here.
We'll figure out money. So when we got home at the end of August, she said, okay, now what do you want to do? And I've been thinking about it. I said, where can I work where I don't say my own boss, but at least be my own boss, where I can make money quickly and not take the risk of owning a giant corporation, but start with just Stephen Gendel Incorporated.
He didn't want to work for anybody else ever.
Because I didn't want to get fired for no reason. And I said...
And we couldn't do startups anymore because we needed a little bit more.
Cushion, yeah. And so I said, real estate's the only thing that...
So now is mom in the business now?
My mom was still in the business from 82 at that point. So she was in the business. Her dad was still in the business at that point.
Your dad was a landlord, though.
No, he was...
No, my dad
Oh,
was
broker.
Commercial broker.
Yeah,
That's right.
residential and commercial, and then he just went commercial.
Commercial. Yeah, in the 80s, he went strictly commercial.
So which way do you go?
Well, you know, I thought about both. Like, I really thought about it. I met with a couple teams. I met with... Erica was honest with me. She said, do not work with your mother, otherwise we're going to get divorced. Do not work with my father, otherwise you're going to get divorced.
It's not that we don't love him. I really just needed him to
You're a small woman.
get
You really are.
his. I needed to get his feet under him and get. He had great sales training already. I didn't want him to go backwards with kind of some old school sales. I wanted him to use what he had.
And she said, you need to prove to both my dad and she said, and your mom, that you can do it at a higher level with technology that they've never seen and don't even understand. So I said, okay. So I picked a Coldwell Banker office near me at the time and started there as residential. That was it.
And we talked about that a little bit
Yeah.
in Chicago. And
Yeah.
so you take off there. Now you're in the business. How long before you come to Keller?
2007, 5 years.
5 years. Now, when you came to Keller, did you come as an agent first like me, or did you get open up?
I came as an agent to open up my
So you
market center.
incubated?
I incubated, yeah. I literally said to Erica in 2005, Keller Williams opened up near me about 10 miles away.
He had been talking to me about it for a year.
And I had a copy of the Millionaire Real Estate Agent
It was
book.
2005.
By 2005, I got the MREA book. And I said to Erica after I read the book, I want to open one of these one day. She goes, one of what? I go, I don't know. But
And
whatever,
I said, you
whoever
got
wrote
to
this
tell me
book-
more about it.
yeah.
And I'm not risk averse. I just need the education part of it. And we just still didn't have 2 pennies to rub together.
Yeah.
Because we were basically
Living on every
living on
commission.
everything that came in. You know, somebody said to us, "You're living on, you're paying for a college education without the years of saving up for it with
Right.
the interest."
Like some people have college funds, savings funds. Every year we're paying $75,000 to $100,000 extra for a college education.
Just in
copays,
lots of other stuff.
out of pocket,
Out-of-pocket stuff.
dinners out because we're in the hospital for 3 straight months. Like all that, right, added up to an extra college education.
Because the hospitals don't feed the parents.
Of course not.
Right.
No. So
Is there a special thing like the Ronald McDonald House for?
not everywhere. Only a couple hospitals.
Yeah. And only for certain types of
That's
diseases.
what I was going to say.
Yeah.
Was Josh qualified for that?
Nope.
Josh would have qualified if we had gone to one of those hospitals, but we didn't.
Yeah.
So okay.
Yeah. And we lived local.
That was the hospital.
that's the-
yeah. That's the other side.
Even though we stayed over, there's always
Yeah.
one of us at his bedside.
Yeah.
But Stephen, I told him, if you feel so passionately that you can make a go of Keller Williams, I will support you. And I had already started a sales career, right?
Yep, you're already in your other business.
And
What were you doing now?
I started a Mary Kay business because I could do it with Josh sitting on my lap,
That's right.
which I did. And I
That's
sold
awesome.
a lot of Mary Kay.
Women buy a lot of Mary Kay, and then
do.
when the Great Recession hit, they
Yes.
buy more,
More.
because they feel better and it's cheap.
Just from a lipstick. Who knew?
It's cheap. They buy a lot more. She became 8th in the world in sales in Mary Kay. So
Get that Mary Kay out.
You did not.
I'm talking for me. I'm looking to sell Mary
You
Kay.
need lipstick, I know.
I do need makeup.
look,
I'm actually 95.
That's awesome.
So, I mean, we were literally living off what little I could do, and I did as much as I could, and we had nursing, and Stephen went and gave it a go.
yeah. So I was selling and incubating.
So I actually, kid before me, like again, I was blessed when I got into real estate because again, my wife was very well off
Right.
with job security and all of that. I had a pension, so I didn't have to worry about anything,
Sure.
and I just rolled into it. And I had a business I sold, and I was, we had cash in the bank. Just starting out has to be difficult.
We had nothing.
You're a different type of difficult.
We had a different type of difficulty.
How do you
forever.
keep your mind, like, just again, everything has to be a positive attitude in my mind, right?
I'll go back to mine, but I made Erica a promise. Even we bought our house in 2004. I was in real estate a year and a half at that point, and I said, I'm going to make you one promise, and I don't know how we're going to keep this promise, but I will never miss a mortgage payment, ever.
We didn't.
And we never did. Never have. In spite of
bless,
and whether that meant her Mary Kay was paying our mortgage, and beautiful that she was 8th in the world because the pink car that they talk about, she didn't take the car, she took the cash, which then I used to buy a car, right? So because we had a modified van, right? So
Unless they were looking to give you a modified van,
van,
for
which
that
I
big
would have
van,
taken.
I would've
Wasn't
taken it too,
happening.
It
yeah.
wasn't happening,
Yeah.
right? Yeah. So we just leveraged what we could in between, starting the market center, the market crashing, not making any money for a year and a half.
You bought in at the worst
I bought
time,
in at the worst. We crashed a week after I opened, or 2 weeks after we opened.
It's like me with the city with COVID.
Right, with COVID. You had the COVID
Yep.
hit
Just lucked out,
and
yeah.
just lucked out. So, and I will say in that time period of starting the market center, Josh was, for him, relatively healthy, not needing a major surgery except for
Or a
one or
long
two,
hospital
or a
stay.
long hospital stay. His hospital stays were maybe a week, maybe 2 weeks, but we didn't have a 2 or 3 month stay
So-
in that time period. So we were a little lucky.
So Steve, going through this, and I know what it takes to open up a Keller, obviously.
Yep.
Just like you, when I first got into Keller, I didn't even know what the hell it
Yeah.
was either. I
Yeah.
really didn't. I thought,
Drinking from that fire hose.
yeah, that's all it is. And I remember coming in, I was either Remax or somewhere, I forgot the other company I was thinking of leaving when I was going from Exit. Because I sold the Exit
Yep.
company, and I got out, and Dave Lagaz was the one that sold it on me. I was like, oh, this is brilliant. You don't have to pay
Sure.
the big desk fee that you have in Remax. So,
Which is what I was coming from. Yep.
right? And what they were going to do with me, because me and Diana worked as a partnership, I wasn't paying $2,000 a desk. I had to pay $4,000. Even though it was just really, the strange thing with me was Diana made all the bank. She was the good one. I was just the coattail rider. So they wanted to charge both of us to
Sure.
be a part of that, which, I get it, but, so it came out to $48,000 just for desk
Yeah,
fees.
my
and
my,
then
re, my
95.
Remax was the same. It was $1,500 for me and $1,500 for my assistant.
It was
That's insane.
absurd.
Insane.
That's
It was
absurd.
absurd.
It really is.
They
right?
took our money.
Yeah.
Right, that's what they do. But Keller, when it came out, okay, you got a $400 office, and you have a cap.
Right.
This is
A no-brainer.
It was
100%.
It was the
It's a
first.
no-brainer.
Yeah, it was the first model I looked at. First model I looked at that was beneficial to the agent and the owner.
Right.
Right. I always heard when I was a Coldwell Banker agent, we're not making any money. You have to do this. And when I became a Remax agent,
Same
the
thing.
owner of my Remax would walk in and say, "I'm not making money on you guys." I'm like, "Well, it's your business model.
Right.
That's
You
your
bought
problem.
it. That's your problem."
Not
Right.
mine,
Right.
yeah.
Right. And then I looked at this model and I was like, it's the first one that values both owner and agent.
I
And
thought.
multiple income streams. And that was something that really caught our attention because even when we had bad times and there was a shitstorm happening, because we knew
You had
it
that to
would,
fall back on.
Right.
there were, as long as he encouraged people to join Keller Williams, we definitely had some income.
Yeah.
There was always, and there were opportunities for that to just grow.
And what I said to Erica when we were talking about it was, right now, if I sell a house, we make money. But if Josh gets sick for 3, 4, 5 months, I don't know how many houses I'll sell during that time period. and then I'm going to scramble to make up time, which
Right.
I can't make up time, but I'm going to scramble to make sure we're fed, cash flowed, et cetera. I said if we own the market center, at the very least,
This is always my
there's
Referral.
me selling, there's profit share, there's owner profit, as long as all three are working. If one of the three is working great, if all three are working really great,
Right.
but if Josh is sick and owner profit and profit share are working, great.
You do it the way I did it with partners, or
Yes, I had a couple partners.
you did it with a couple of partners
Yeah.
come in.
Yep. And I bought some out really quickly too. If we were bad partners, yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing that we're different. I tolerate it. You don't.
No.
Yeah, you don't have the.
No, and I set up my operating agreement so I can get them out quickly.
Yep.
Yeah.
With me, I'm the opposite, where it's just I deal with this shit and I'll just do it.
Yeah.
Because I guess, a people pleaser in some ways. It doesn't look like it, but I am.
No, it doesn't. But yeah.
But I
It
am.
really doesn't.
It really doesn't, but
You're
I
so
am.
cute.
Yeah. Julia takes so much advantage of me. It's just like, yeah, it's ridiculous. So, how are you just in the mindset to do all of this? With your baby going through all of this.
Well, we
and I
had-
know it's determination and you got to do it.
So, I
We
mean,
had mantras that kept us going.
yeah, definitely.
Every day is a gift. You never know what tomorrow's going to bring, and things could always be worse. So let's do our best today, knowing that
Yeah.
you don't know what's going to come tomorrow.
And I was also taught by a college professor that the only people truly disabled are those who can't laugh. That college professor, 1980 whatever, drilled that into my head, and I really thought about it. Like, wow, if you can just laugh, and you see all the movies about kids laughing in a hospital or people being sick,
see it all the time,
and you
yeah.
see it all the time, right?
Was the movie with Robin Williams?
Robin Williams, right? Patch Adams, right?
That's right, yeah.
You
Good
just
movie.
you think
Great movie.
about like what laughter is as a medicine, what it's proven to do to the inside of the body, right? Seeing that Josh could laugh. I mean, one of the first early pictures is Joshua, and he's all of 6 weeks old. Now, most parents hold their child right away when they're born, or when they have their child born, and we couldn't hold him for 6 weeks. He was too unstable, and he was too small. But one of the first photos is Erica and her mom holding him, and he's got this biggest smile on his face, and he's laughing. I'm like, okay, we've got a smile, like we're good, right? So if you can,
I don't care if it was a reflex or something else. I'm going to take
right.
it as
Got
a
it,
smile.
exactly. So
So me too.
I guess he taught us through all of his struggles. If I can just smile, I'll get more. I'll be okay. We're gonna do this, right? And I mean, I was blessed with parents who taught me the worst thing someone could say to you is no. Great, did that hurt? Okay, moving on.
Yes,
And right, same with you. And so I think when that happened, I was just like, well, then we got this, whatever this is, and we're gonna figure it out together.
With a lot of love.
Yeah,
it's amazing.
With
Yeah.
a lot of love.
yeah, and laugh a lot because it's so absurd.
It really is.
It's absurd.
And we got so much more to talk about, but we have other plans today.
Yes.
You guys are definitely coming back. Definitely coming, because we have so much more to talk about. I did
Yeah.
not know it was going to go by this quick. I need you back on for like 2 hours
Okay.
to go over this. I'm dead serious, when you can, when you get the time.
Thanks.
Because I don't even want to ask questions like to end this, because I want to make sure you guys come back. Because we really have a lot more to talk about, because I think this is probably one of, and I'm not just saying this, I really mean this. I think this is one of the most important episodes I ever had.
Oh, thanks.
And anybody out there, because this, we're really, we're talking about something that's still a need. And I think if we can do it, then sign me up.
Everybody's riding some sort of storm.
That's right.
How do you keep going?
Yep.
And your mindset is going to get you through it, even on those darkest days.
That's right.
And you really need to have that mindset, not rose-colored glass mindset. Erica likes to use the word triage mindset. Triage what is the most important thing to get me through just the next 5 minutes, so that I can wake up tomorrow and be ready for tomorrow, so I can triage that. And they build on each other to bring about a positive outcome.
That's right.
But and that's not rose-colored glasses. It's
not.
truly rolling up your sleeves and being like, he just came out of neurosurgery. We got to make sure he's stable. Let's get him stable so we can get back to the laughter. What does that look like? And that's triaging the moment. And that's being real and raw and doing it. And there's nothing wrong with that. But learning how to do that takes, there's a model for it, but it just takes time.
Absolutely.
And practice like anything else. Yeah.
So, again, I'm really sorry that we didn't have this for 3 hours, because, again, this is something that we could talk about for hours and still not be done. But it's again, and I'm not just saying this, it's one of the most important things that I've been a part of, I think. And it's, Never really got to meet Josh personally. I think I would have had a ball with this freak.
Uh-huh.
Oh my God.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he would have had you cracking up.
Oh my God, I know. I would have.
He would have laughed at you.
First of all, he would have liked your voice. So he was very big into sound because of the vision impairment. So if he heard your voice, he would have jumped and he would have like looked around and started laughing.
Yeah, everything he built, I would have destroyed to make it look like that.
No, it's all good. And he knew all the bad words, so it was
I
good.
taught him so well.
Well, I say,
And he could
"Hey,
use them properly in a sentence, too.
Yes, he
so
could.
I say, hey, that's all good for me.
That's awesome.
grammar.
He could.
So,
Thank you for having
Thanks
me.
for having us, Rich.
Let's set up where we get you back in here
Sure.
and do this again because I want to finish this conversation. I love you guys. Thank you
Love
so
you.
much
Thank
for
you.
coming on.
Appreciate it.
Thanks,
Best,
Rich.
best. Thanks.
Thanks.